Welcome everyone to the Hyundai IONIQ 9, a car that answers a question that, well, no one really asked. What if my house had wheels? Yes, this is Hyundai's biggest and most unapologetically bold attempt at an electric family car yet. It's an SUV/estate car that seats no less than 7, drives 385 miles on a single charge, and it looks a bit like it's been designed by someone who's been playing a bit too much Minecraft. But the good news is I have managed to get my hands on one of the first right-hand drive versions here in the UK. I was thinking about it. It would just be a bit rude, wouldn't it, to keep it all to myself? I mean, it's not like we're talking about chocolate, because clearly that's not shareable. But before we crack on, do share some love with us and subscribe to the channel. Now, if you've ever wondered what the love child of the Kia EV9 and the Audi A6 e-tron Avant would look like, well, look no further. That's it, isn't it? Let's start with the obvious though, because this car is absolutely enormous. It's the biggest thing that Hyundai has ever built, possibly including their offices. But this car shares a platform with the Kia EV9, which basically means that it's the same size, just a smidge taller. It's also bigger than its nearest rival, the 7-seat Peugeot E5008. But size in this case really does mean comfort. You can choose between 6 or 7 seats, but this calligraphy version gets captain's chairs in the middle row. So you can pretend you're flying business class Emirates, while in fact you're stuck in a traffic jam on the M25. Now, in terms of design, I think the giveaway that this is a Hyundai are the pixels. They're absolutely everywhere. Fun fact for you, the perfect pixel is actually a letter in the Korean alphabet. There you go. Use that in your next pub quiz. Now, in terms of the shape, it's a lot less boxy than the Kia EV9. It's more streamlined, it's sleeker. But this sloping roofline isn't just for style. It actually makes it more aerodynamic and therefore more efficient, which means more miles per charge. Love it. Now, when it comes to the wheels, 19 as standard, 20 and 21 inch as an option. Now, on the calligraphy model, we have the 21 inch, and it comes with this rather nice design on the wheels, spokes that have been inspired by the turbo of an aircraft. I don't think it's going to take off, but it does look very nice. This comes in 3 different trims and 10 different colours. This green is called Ionosphere Green. And you know what? For a green, I think it's rather attractive. All IONIQ 9 models feature a 110 kWh battery with a choice of single or dual motors, or with a heat pump as standard. Manually selectable battery conditioning, which is a great feature, along with vehicle to load, so you can use your car as a mobile battery. Now, that battery is Hyundai's largest yet and gives an official range of up to 385 miles in the single motor version. With the dual motor, it drops to around 350 miles. Now, that puts it on a par with its sibling, the Kia EV9, and is almost bang on with the Volvo EX90 single motor version. Despite the IONIQ 9 having a massive battery, it can still top up on the go quickly thanks to a top charging speed of 233 kilowatts. So that means if you can get on a charger that can deliver that level of power, you can get from 10 to 80% in 24 minutes. AC charging is capped at 11 kilowatts, and to be honest, I'd have liked to have seen 22 kilowatt offered so that it can take advantage of the lamppost charging points that are popping up in our towns and cities. We'll take a look inside. It's a very nice place to be. I must say it's very IONIQ, because whilst being quite sturdy, quite robust, it's also very serene and quite calm, very Korean, I would say, in terms of the design. Little things like I love how the screen is floating. I love how slim the air vents are. So it's very streamlined. They've obviously paid quite a lot of attention to the design of the interior. I mean, you've got lots of screens going on, because not only have you got the double digital display in front of you, you've also got your display screen for your wing mirrors, which I'm never a huge fan of. And then obviously there's lots and lots of pixels everywhere. Slight overkill. Do we really need so many pixels down here? You know, free wireless charging up here on your steering wheel. I mean, this is quite cool. So these pixels up here, they actually light up. You've got 4 and they reflect the state of charge. So hopefully you should never run out of energy because it's reminding you all of the time. So that is quite useful. And then you will be very happy to see, look at that. A twisty little knob for the climate control. So we've got touch screen here for the fan. There we are. But for actual physical buttons for the temperature gauge, which is brilliant. And then on a day like today, I can cool my bottom, which comes in the calligraphy model in the top 2 tiers. So that's a nice touch. Heated seats, cooled seats, heated steering wheel. It's got it all, including a special little sterilising system for your phone and anything of that size. This is something I like. That is impressive. The whole central island moves. It's called the Universal Island. And when you open it up, decent, really decent storage space with a secret layer. So that's where I will hide all of my treasure. The screen is really easy to use as well. It is nice and responsive. Shall we check the weather? Oh, what's it doing? Ah, funny that, sun and a bit of rain. The other thing, obviously you get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. The AI voice control is quite good. Should we give her a little try? Here we go. Can you take me to the nearest McDonald's?
Please say the line number of the location you want to go to.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, line number 2, please.
Do you want to be guided to this place?
Yeah, I'm hungry. Now the spec is pretty generous, particularly when it comes to the seats. First row, second row, heated seats. And unless you're getting the entry-level car, they are also ventilated. Perfect in this kind of weather. I mean, it's like a TARDIS in here. I appreciate we can't really say it's a TARDIS because that would mean it was small on the outside. And it's not, it's big on the outside. But it's big on the outside and feels even bigger on the inside. It's just glorious. There's just so much space. And these chairs are comfortable. I've got an armrest here and here. I've got double cup holders. I've got storage bin. I've got storage here. And I can access the Universal Island in the middle. Look at this. It's just so functional. And there are 7 of these. 7. Which means the children will never run out of power on the thing we're not allowed to give them, an iPad. Amen to that. So this is the next part of my test. So this seat is set to my driving position, 5'8", minus a half. And then handspan about there. I mean, there's loads of room. I don't really need that amount. Do you know what? I'm going to move it forward a bit. No, that feels squashed. I want to enjoy this. Okay, we're back to where we were. This feels pleasant. Let's see how much space there is in the back. You know, normally if you sit in the 3rd row of a car, your legs are like this. And you would never actually ask a normal adult to sit back here. These are for kids, right? Not these ones. Nope. And I can recline. I have space. I have cup holders. I have charge there. Honestly, I'm never going to want to drive again. This is glorious. And the best part about these seats, ISOFIX. So the kids can sit here and you won't need to hear them because you'll be so far away at the front. And just lastly, let's appreciate how easy it is to get out. Is that a backbreaker? No, I don't think so. Amazing access, especially how wide the door opens. I'm assuming that most people that want to buy a 6-seater car will have all 6 seats up most of the time. I wanted to show you this for comparison. This is the Peugeot E5008 in its 7-seater setting. So we've got the 3 middle bench up and the 2 seats in the back. This is how much boot space is left with those seats up. 348 litres. got a little yo-yo and got my charging cables. Come and take a little look at the situation here. Currently set up with the third row up. This is 620 litres worth of stuff. Now, it's not just the E5008 that has a small boat when all the seats are up. So does the ginormous Kia EV9. That actually has a boot space of just 333 litres in the 6-7 seat configuration. So, my question to you is this. Why are you buying a 7-seater car? Is it for local visits? Or is it because you actually need to put 7 people in the car and loads of stuff? If that's the case, the EV9 and the E5008 is going to be too small for you because you're not going to have enough boot space. This, however, you do not have to compromise when you're in the 6-7-seater layout.
This video is brought to you with Andersen EV, the UK's most awarded home charge point brand of 2024, offering over 200 colour and finish options, a market-leading 7-year warranty and a unique hidden tethered cable.
Finally, the beast has been unleashed on the road, but before we get into all the driving impressions, I want to talk to you about noise. Now, I quite enjoy the calmness and the silence of driving an electric car. It does bring an element of serenity, I think, to driving now, as opposed to back in the day. And this has taken it to a whole new level. So you know how we have noise-cancelling headphones? Well, now we have a noise-cancelling car. This basically, in some rapid time of 0.02 of a second, can basically listen to the sounds that is coming into the car and then play back the opposite sound to cancel it out. And okay, while it is not obviously completely silent in here, I mean, 2 cars just went past me then and I could hear them, but overall it's a fraction quieter, I would say. A fraction is maybe a bit harsh. Quite a bit quieter. Okay, so I am now driving through a couple of fields. It is very windy. I can see trees blowing, bushes blowing in the wind, and I can hear the wind noise. So I'm not quite sure how much cancelling actually occurs, but I think maybe it just reduces the noise. It's still a very calm and serene drive, but it's not completely silent. If only Hyundai could have come up with something to cancel out the noise of 3 children in the back. Oh, now that would be perfect. Let me give you some performance figures. So the long-range rear-wheel drive model uses a 160 kilowatt rear motor. If you step up to the long-range all-wheel drive, you get the same 160 kilowatt rear motor paired with a 70 kilowatt unit at the front. The performance all-wheel drive goes even further, with 160 kilowatt motors front and rear. Now that extra power means the performance model sprints from 0 to 62 kilometers an hour in just 5.2 seconds. The long-range all-wheel drive follows in 6.7 seconds, while the rear-wheel drive version takes 9.4. Mid-range performance is just as impressive. For overtaking, the performance model goes from 50 to 75 miles per hour in just 3.4 seconds. The all-wheel drive takes 4.8 and the rear-wheel version does it in 6.8. So this is the long-range all-wheel version, and for something of this size, it is nimble. I mean, it doesn't feel as bulky as it looks, although having said that, squeezing into the parking spaces is kind of an Olympic sport, but generally on the road it's impressive. I have driven it on a mixture of small B roads, larger A roads, and on the motorway, and it has handled all of them well. Now I think it helps because the enormous battery sits low in the floor. So I think it helps it corner with a bit more grace, particularly considering its height as well. And also the body roll I found is quite minimal. Stability is good, so the handling is good. So this has a total output of 314 kilowatts, which is the equivalent of 423 brake horsepower. Motors on the front and the rear axle. And yet it moves this 2.6 ton bulk with absolute ease. It really does. Now, when you stamp on the accelerator, there's a sort of a double acceleration. It's almost like a bit of a pause. It's a bit like old school turbo nostalgia goes electric. But it also feels like a bit of a turbo lag, which I don't really like. The whole point of going electric is you just go, you have that instant acceleration, but there's like a double. You can sort of go fast, then you go really fast. Let's talk regen braking for a bit. 4 different settings via the lovely paddles up here. Strongest one offers smooth 1-pedal driving, which I'm actually on right now, perfect for town. Brake pedal is natural, none of that kind of weird grabby EV stuff that you can sometimes get. We've got 4 different driving modes: My Drive, Sport, Normal and Eco. I find this quite funny. So put my foot down, I'm on, high regen at the moment. It's still impressive, a nice little bit of acceleration. I pop it into sport mode. Where did that come from? It's so fast. Like, that acceleration is wicked. So I would say, to be fair, no, I would say I'm not going to drive it in sport because that's too much power for me. I am going to drive it in normal mode, which is plenty of power, but not too much, as you saw. But sport mode, if you want to have fun, it's there to play with. So I think the steering maybe likes a tiny bit of feedback. The ride quality isn't always perfect over lumpy British roads, although I was also thinking about this. Because this is the top of the range model and it comes with those massive, very good looking 21-inch wheels, so maybe that's not helping absorb all of those bumps in the road. Next time we will get a car with smaller wheels. Also, this doesn't get adaptive suspension or 4-wheel steering that you might find on rivals like the BMW iX. As a result, the turning circle isn't as good either, which isn't ideal when you're trying to manoeuvre a wagon into tight spaces. Okay, let's talk real world range for a bit. So Hyundai claims 185 miles for the single motor version. Now this all-wheel drive model should be around 330 to 340 miles. I have been driving it in mixed conditions, around 250 miles so far, and I've been getting around 3.2 miles per kilowatt hour. Now that was in eco mode, but I've had the AC blasting and the massage seats have not been switched off. So that equates to just over 350 miles, which is brilliant. Now it's worth pointing out that this is a new car. It's barely run in, and that of course means the bigger test is going to be in winter. So we will get this 9 back in then and try it out. Now when it comes to warranty, it's 5 years with unlimited mileage. The battery has 8 years with 100,000 miles, which gives you plenty of peace of mind, unless you're planning to drive to the moon and back. I feel like it's conclusion time, isn't it? And this is going to be hard, I'm worried, because there's pressure here. Because IONIQ 5 and 6 both won World Car of the Year. So the question is, can the 9 make it a hat trick? Well, let's talk about the prices, shall we? It starts at £64,930, although this top spec calligraphy model with the 6-seat option is quite a bit more, £78,530. Now, at the moment, there's no lease or finance cost available because it's a bit too soon, and I think that is going to be crucial for a car like this. So we will keep a close eye on that and update Electrifying when we know. But just for example, a Kia EV9 at the moment costs about £1,000 a month, which is the same as a BMW iX. This is something else to consider. If for the majority of the time you actually only need a 5-seater with just the flexibility of the 7-seat option, then maybe take a look at the Peugeot E5008, because prices start a lot lower at under £49,000. But just remember, like I showed you earlier, that boot space will be compromised in the 7-seater setting. But if you're going to be 6 up most of the time, including big kids, adults, with lots of stuff, well, then I don't think you can really look any further than this, because it delivers, it's enormous, it's comfortable, it has the range. I'm wondering what it is missing. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments.